What's happening, YouTube vinyl community? It's Mitch, here to do a long-awaited recent finds. I know these are everyone's favorite videos, where we all just, have an adult show and tell, in the words of David Michael, and brag about all the stuff that we found. No, but in all seriousness, I know it's been a while since I've done one. Just haven't been buying a lot of records lately. It's been just a busy time of year with the wedding and trying to settle back into being at home and being at work after the honeymoon, and haven't been to the record store as often as I usually go. And so, yeah, but I've got a small pile here with hopefully what you guys think is some cool stuff, and who knows, maybe talking about some of this stuff will lead me into a tangent and we can have some discussion. But anyway, we'll just dive right in. One of the coolest things I found over the last month is this Blind Melon Tomes of Home white label promo 7-inch. I was just digging in the 7-inch section at my record store that I frequent most often, which I hardly ever do, and this was just a few back on the punk/alternative section. And Blind Melon, I was raised on them. They're one of my dad's favorite bands, and so of course they became one of my favorite bands. Excuse me. And it was really cool to see a promo of this song, especially. I'm pretty sure that this album, this is from the debut, if I remember correctly, and that's really hard to find. And the reissues that just came out through Capitol are already really, really expensive. So it was cool just to have one of my favorite songs by Blind Melon on vinyl. Hopefully I'll be able to grab some more stuff from them soon. I think it was 2 weekends ago now. I live in a part of Kansas City that's just technically right outside of the city limits, a little bit north of the Missouri River, and we have a record store that just newly opened, and right around the corner from my house practically. But the unfortunate part is that his business hours are basically the exact hours that I work. So he's not open on Sundays or Mondays, which are my days off, and by the time I'm out of work, he's closed. But he partnered up with some other record stores and some local collectors and ended up throwing like a small scale record fair or show at it's kind of like a coffee shop and a bar mixed with a bike repair shop. It's kind of a cool little business here right in my neighborhood, and they hosted the show. And so I was doing some digging and picked this guy up. This is a European import of Jane's Addiction's Ritual de lo Habitual. Really nice, clean copy. The guy had it labeled as a UK press, but when I came home and cataloged it and was looking at it, it's, let's see if I can show the label here. It's kind of one of those Warner Brothers all Europe wide kind of label. So it's got German, French, and English on the label there. Sounds really awesome. I was really pumped to find this particular record because I have an original of Nothing Shocking that I got from Dad's collection, and then I have their, what's it called? I can't remember. Let me look behind me here. The Sterling Spoon box set, which is this Nothing Shocking and like one, maybe a live 2-disc set if I remember right. I can't remember what else in there, but I know this one and Nothing Shocking's in there, and both of those reissue presses from the box set sound very flat, just almost like they took the original CD masters and made maybe an analog copy of the digital recording and then just pressed it from there. It's just really muffled, and it sounds honestly worse than streaming it. I don't know if they had pressing problems or what the deal was, but like I said, I was pumped to find this one because I really like Jane's Addiction. I wanted to start completing my Jane's Addiction collection on vinyl, which to me, really, I'd be happy with this one. Like I said, I have Nothing Shocking already, and I'm really looking for their self-titled live debut, which came out on Triple X Records. So hopefully I'll run into that sometime soon and knock out the Jane's Addiction collection. This is a pre-order that I made in maybe February, and it just got here at the end of September. Excuse me, really end of October is what I meant to say. So I haven't had it too long, but it's just it's a basically a maxi single. It's got Blue Bucket of Gold and a live recording, and then Hotline Bling, which is obviously a cover of the Drake song. But I really like Sufjan Stevens. I have for years. And I really enjoyed the album Carrying Lowell, which is where Blue Bucket of Gold comes from. And this also came with a download card for a live album of all of Carrying Lowell in its entirety. And if I remember right, so far that album is only available through download. So I figured I might as well scoop this up to be able to download that. Got here in really nice condition, which I was pumped on. Sometimes it was in a really thin record mailer, and so I was a little worried. There's a split in the or inner sleeve already, but as you can see, you can maybe see my fat head through there. Really cool, translucent blue vinyl. And I'm kind of on board with everybody else in the vinyl community. I'm not a huge colored vinyl fan. If that's the only way you can get the release, I'm fine with that, but I'm not gonna pick out a colored vinyl copy over a black vinyl copy. This sounds really good. He is on Asthmatic Kitty Records, and they do a really good job with their quality control and their pricing. Everything's usually really affordable. I had a bunch of Sufjan stuff on vinyl, and then I had, like everyone knows, I had to sell my collection. So hopefully this will be the start of rebuilding that part of my collection. Next up is this Japanese copy of Rant and Rave by the Stray Cats. I picked this up on a Facebook auction group. One of the guys who's fairly active on there, I guess his daughter-in-law got diagnosed with cancer, and so a lot of the sellers kind of did some donation auctions to raise money for him. So bought it from one guy, PayPal'd another guy for it, which I'm totally fine with. And that whole cancer thing has a soft spot in my heart. So when I saw this, I just really wanted it. I don't have any more Stray Cats left in my collection, so I've got to really start working on that. I really like their first 2-3 albums the best. But I also, to be honest, like there's just something about this being a Japanese pressing and the fact that it's got that really awesome pink obi strip and kind of that whole like Japanese obsession with rockabilly culture. I was like, that'd be a really cool piece to have, and I got it for a fairly decent price, and like I said, it went to a good cause. This isn't exactly my favorite Stray Cats album. Like I said, it's in there, but you know, you can't go wrong with these guys. I really like their style musically, and it's fun to have. Next up, I think I posted this, get rid of the glare, still in the shrink. I posted this one, on the Facebook YouTube vinyl community group. This is a 10-inch EP called Now the Light is Fading. It's by an artist named Maggie Rogers. Um, Maggie Rogers is early mid 20s. Um, she, I believe, went to NYU. The way that I found out about Maggie was late 2015, maybe late 16, either one. It was either the tail end of 15 or tail end of 16. She had a now it's 16 because this just came out in 2017, so excuse me. So, tail end of 2016, she had a video that went viral on YouTube and Facebook. And the reason it went viral was because they were at NYU and they were in like the recording studio, and Pharrell was there, and I guess he was giving some notes on production and songwriting to some selected students, and Maggie was one of them. They played Pharrell the song, the second song on this EP called Alaska, um, and he basically said some really nice complimentary things about her music. And so I was hooked on that song through that video, and then I started listening to her stuff digitally, and then I was just perusing Amazon, and I got this really really cheap. This is actually one of my favorite um, purchases as of late. It's like I said, it's a brand new record. She's on Capitol. It's not 180 gram vinyl because it's a 10-inch record, but it's basically from the weight and the thickness, it feels like the 10-inch equivalent of 180 gram. It's real thick. Sounds really, really good, especially for what I can only assume is a digital recording. So she grew up, I believe, in Vermont and was a bluegrass artist, and then kind of quit making music for a while, and then she got into electronic dance music, and so when she started making music again, she kind of combines like this folky bluegrass stuff with like pop and. In fact, there's a Pitchfork quote on here that says, "Standing at the intersection of so many genres, pop, folk, soul, and dance, Rogers' music is united by the brazen heart she wears on her sleeve." And that's a lot better than I could probably put it. I'm not a music critic, but there's a lot of her soul in this music. You can really hear that. It's a lot different than a lot of stuff I usually listen to. There's a lot more electronic instrumentation, but there's some really cool techniques she's using with sampling nature and integrating that into the drum beats and all kinds of stuff. So if you haven't checked out Maggie Rogers, and that sounds like something you'd be into, I'd highly recommend checking her out here on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. This is another Facebook auction group pickup. This is a first U.S. pressing of Sweet's Desolation Boulevard. This album was on the list of albums that my dad wrote for me at the beginning of this year, right before he passed away, of albums that he thought maybe I hadn't heard in their entirety and meant a lot to him. He had a lot of chemo brain going on, so there are a lot of albums on that list that I already knew very, very well, this being one of them. I love Sweet. Also, if you're from Canada or a different part of the U.S., forgive me. I know they're also known as The Sweet. I just can't say that. I've always known them as just Sweet with no the in front of them. In fact, I used to get caught, quote unquote, stealing my dad's Best of Sweet CD pretty much throughout the entirety of my childhood. I really love this band. I've got 2 or 3 of their records over the last year, and I was really looking for a good copy of Desolation Boulevard, and it was really hard to find a nice copy out in the wild. They're usually pretty thrashed or were very late reissues, and I was looking for a clean original one, so I was lucky to find this one. Sounds great. It's in really nice condition. My favorite songs on here are probably Fox on the Run and the 16s. Of course, Ballroom Blitz is on here, and it's a great song as well. There's also Into the Night. Man, you can't go wrong with this. It's just really good, catchy pop, glam rock. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this album. My last recent finds video, I showed a Japanese pressing of Robert Plant, The Principle of Moments. So, of course, we get one, you have to get all of them. That's how this works, right? And so, we came across this, again, Facebook auction groups. They'll be the death of me. This was actually posted as an original UK pressing. This, of course, is Pictures at 11. Cool thing is, I got it here. Comes in like this really stiff paper inner sleeve, and then I won't take it out of this rice paper, but hopefully you guys can see that. It turned out to be a German pressing, which, as we all know, tend to be a little bit more pricey and favored than UK pressings. I like UK pressings, the few that I have, but especially this era when this album came out, the English were getting kind of flimsy on their jackets. I know a lot of you, like the Beatles guys in the VC, talk about you know, the original UK pressings of the Beatles albums. They have those really cool excuse me, really cool tip-on jackets, and if I could hold shit right side up, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Anyway, the later UK stuff I have has like the really flimsy stuff. I think I just actually mentioned that during that Jane's Addiction, talking about that record. So this is really nice, thick cardstock, really clean vinyl on this as well. Sounds awesome. I'm looking forward to continuing either upgrading or adding to my Robert Plant collection. The guy who sent me that Stray Cats also threw this one in. To be honest, I haven't listened to this yet, but I was super pumped. He's sold me quite a bit of stuff over the last year, and so he knows I'm a big Talking Heads fan. And I think, if I remember right, this was up a day or two before that Stray Cats, and nobody bid on it, so he just threw it in. It's got the deletion cut out there, but other than that, it's really clean, near mint on the wax. I'm unfamiliar with, like I said, this song, but I do like a lot of post Talking Heads David Byrne, so I'm excited to put this one on the turntable. I honestly don't know what's taking me so long on that one. And then lastly, the guy who I got that Robert Plant from, I guess he manages this band called Jonas C in Color, and he sent me this for free as well. This is a nice, nice gatefold. I guess, let me look real quick. I think these guys are, I want to say like Arkansas. I don't know. I don't want to pass on misinformation, but kind of like that, like neo southern rock. From what I listened to thus far, to be honest, I haven't put this one on the turntable either. I just streamed some of it. I didn't exactly get into it right away, so I haven't bothered to go through the effort of putting this one on the turntable, but I don't know, maybe if I'm showing this kind of to see if anybody in the VC's heard these guys, and maybe could talk me into giving them another chance. So anyway, other than that, like, there's just a few finds. I haven't had a whole lot of regular habitual record store digging or anything like that. In fact, I was just talking with Billy today. There's a guy that I'm friends with on Facebook who's posted a lot of Prince 12-inch maxi singles today that I still need, especially some stuff by Vanity and that kind of thing. And it's just the wrong time of year for me right now, so I'm going to go ahead and pass up. But, man, it's been really hard lately, learning to be patient, and wait for a good clean copy of something, or sometimes you run into a really clean copy and it's not the right price. So Me and Billy have been talking about that a lot, about how kind of waiting for the right thing at the right time at the right price is kind of one of the tricks of building a good collection and doing it in a way that doesn't piss off your wallet or significant other, or put records in front of food or any of the other expenses. I know we kind of always joke about that as record collectors, that kind of we're diseased and that kind of stuff. But there is like a compulsive, I think, fear of missing out. Like when you see something you've wanted for a while, or something by an artist that you really like to collect that you don't have, whatever it may be, you kind of get that, at least personally, oh man, I'll never see this one again, which is just not true in today's day and age. We've got Discogs, we've got eBay, we've got all kinds of Facebook auction groups, we've got other guys on YouTube we can reach out to and see if they have extras, etc., etc. So that's kind of mainly what I've been focusing on, is kind of slowing down and really trying to figure out what's important as far as what do I want right now, or what's really worth purchasing at the crazy prices that are in most record stores right now. And then on top of that, if you've been paying attention to the Facebook page, I've also been doing a lot better at cataloging the stuff that I inherited from my dad lately. I maybe when he passed away in March, end of March, maybe by the end of April, I made it through like the B's, and I've kind of done some selective cataloging since then on stuff that maybe caught my eye or I thought would be a little more rare, collectible, pricey, however you want to put it. But now I'm kind of in a place where I feel okay doing more systematic kind of total cataloging. So I'm done with all the CDs that I've brought from my parents' house, and as far as vinyl goes, I am through. I think I made it through Kiss last night, so I'm in the K's, just grinding it out. Man, Discogs is great, but going through the monotony of figuring out which pressing you have, and looking at the matrix numbers and all the stuff in the dead wax can be really monotonous, but it's definitely worth it. So I guess that's just one of the maybe not so fun parts of record collecting. It's really not that bad when you bring home a stack of 5 to 10 records and you have to do it real quick. But I don't know if any of you have, like when Billy gets the big hauls, or sometimes David Michael brings home massive stacks from the thrift store, and I'm sure there's other guys that I watch too out there that when you get a large lot of records at once, it can be very daunting to be tasked with sitting down and putting it all on a database, whether you use Discogs or a spreadsheet or whatever. So that's kind of what I've been doing, is trying to really get more familiar with some of the stuff that was given to me, and understanding what I have. And so through that, I think, not putting out any promises. I know Billy specifically has been hassling me about doing more discovering Dad's collection type videos. I just haven't really felt like doing the research necessary to like put out a good video on an album that I've never really heard before, and also just not the emotional energy to really sit with that much of my dad and the grief lately. But anyway, without getting too personal, I've been doing better. So, the other day I checked out a band called Diamond Head that my dad has a couple of records from, and I really liked them. Just kind of reminded me a lot, of new wave of British heavy metal, which I'm pretty sure that's what they are anyway. So it would make sense. It wouldn't remind me. I think they are new wave of British heavy metal, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of really good records behind me that I am not familiar with, and I'm going to try to do better at familiarizing myself with the stuff that my dad felt like was worthy of having around, and hopefully I'll be able to share that journey with you guys a little bit more regularly, especially as stuff kind of slows down. I've got some more free time on my days off. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys sticking around with me this long. I know this video is getting kind of rambly, so if you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions on the stuff I showed, or Discogs cataloging, or being patient with your record collecting, just let me know. Comment below. I try to interact with as many of you as possible. That's why I joined the VC. I really appreciate all you guys watching, subscribing, liking my videos. I appreciate the support that I've gotten in the vinyl community since I've joined. And like I said, it's been a really slow month, but hopefully I'll be around with either some more vinyl finds or a new listen to me kind of video before another 4 weeks is up. It seems I'm making about a video a month. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.